Ahoy again to another Mordheim battle report. This time it's the Carnival against the Restless Dead. It is now the Carnival's turn to enter the city of Mordheim, coming through the northern gate and heading west to the statue of Count Gotthard. In this location, the winning Warband's leader will get a +1 leadership. Fighting against the Restless Dead will mean that the winning Warband will also get their first territory in this campaign. And here we have the Carnival, led by the Carnival Master Moonhead on top in the middle with his big sword. And the lucky charm, he knows the spell Buboes. And flanking him are the two brutes, the chef and the gardener, both strong men with two-handed weapons. And the gardener is also hardened. On the stairs on the left is Howard Lucas, the tainted one with two hammers and bloated foulness, and step aside. And on the right, the second tainted one, Clownface with a spear and Nurgle's rod. He has 2 wounds. Then on the floor from the left and right, 2 brethren with bow and dagger. Then the plague bearer, and on the right, the balloon twister with club and dagger and extra weapon skill. The Restless Dead of House Velmon are nearly unchanged after their first matchup, so they are led by the Lich, Lady Ursula, who knows the spells Lifestealer and Spell of Doom, and has the skill Death Speaker, so she will summon D3 additional zombies at the beginning of the battle. And on her right is the King, more like Velmon. He's armed with 2 swords and a lucky charm, and behind him is his son, Marshal Falk, the Graveguard with white sword and shield. On the left, the Necromancer Gilbert, he knows the Spell of Doom as well, and Sir Jedran Falseborn, another Graveguard with sword and shield. On the bottom, 4 zombies, and then the 3 whites. Helmar Velmon with axe and shield, Goliath with sword and axe, and the last son of the king, Tyne Velmon, with a halberd. Today the mission is treasure hunt, so somewhere within all these buildings is a hidden treasure, and the Warband's trying to find it. And having deployed on the left hand side of the battle is the Carnival of Chaos, and on the right, spread out, are the undead of House Velmon. So treasure hunt is a little bit iffy, so normally you enter a building and roll 2d6, and if you got a double 6 then you found a treasure, but then you can kind of dictate where the treasure is, because the last unexplored building automatically has the treasure. So if you explore the second to last building, then if you don't roll a double 6, which is unlikely, then the other building has a treasure. And the solution to the problem is this little disc. So the idea is they are all spread around the buildings, and if you encounter it, you flip it, and either it is a blank or there's a yellow X on the back side. So there are lots of discs spread around on different floors of the buildings. So you basically have to reach the disc itself. It's not enough to enter the building. You have to proper search the building, or the fountain in the middle, and somewhere all around the map. And this will make sure that every search has the same chance to find the treasure, and you cannot wait or leave one building out for the last, so that the building nearest to your warband will be the last building unexplored and definitely has the treasure. That's a bit stupid. So yeah, this is hopefully a good rule streak to an otherwise very interesting mission, and a very rewarding mission, whoever wins the treasure. So, going over the warbands, first of all the Carnival of Chaos on the right side, the Brethren with bow, accompanied by the Plague Bearer, and then a second bowman with Moonhead, and then the Tainted ones with the Twister. And on the far left are the 2 brutes, who will hopefully pack a punch and plow through the undead, who are deployed on the other side of the table. Starting with Jedran Falseborn and the King Morlock, accompanied by a single zombie and the young son Tyne with the halberd. Then on top of the buildings, Marshal Falk and another zombie. Down at the bottom is the Lich with Helmar and 3 spawned zombies from the skill. A single zombie all alone, and Gilbert with Goliath and the last zombie. And the Restless Dead will have the first turn of this match. And everybody moves up. The undead are at a distinctive disadvantage because the only one who can run are Gilbert, the Necromancer, and the Lich herself, so everybody else just stumbles forward 4 inches and cannot run. So if the Carnival is the first to find the treasure, then the undead are very slow to take it from them. But yeah, same chances for everyone, so they move up and await the Carnival. And the first possible treasure location for the Carnival, Moonhead passed his climbing test and gets to the treasure and reveals a blank. So the search goes on and on to movement for the rest. Starting the turn with the Necromancer, he moves into the ritual site and revealing the chip. And it's the treasure. So he found the thing and can hold it back now. So everybody turns now over to the right hand side, and in the center, the Lich. She will try to intercept. She has 5 wounds, maybe that will slow them down. And far on the left side, the dead court. Slowly but purposely going over to support. And the Lich will try Spell of Doom. She needs a 9. And with an 8, that's a failure. As did the undead, so the Carnival will also try to make haste and close in on the Necromancer. So the 2 brutes are the closest and they will try to reach him and get the treasure before he's too far gone. And also the other Warband members will slowly try to engage and support the 2 brutes, but the Lich in the middle keeps them from running. But that means the archers can now shoot the Lich, or at least one of them, the closest one, because the one behind did run, so he cannot shoot. And needing a 5 to hit, that's a hit, and doesn't wound though, so that's the turn for the Carnival. On to Undead, turn 3. As for the treasure, Goliath lending a helping hand, and the 2 zombies try to hold off the brutes. Let's see how that goes. But support is in the rear, so they cannot run, they just shamble forward 4 inches, as does the king and his 2 sons. In the center, the Lich went upstairs and get out of harm's way and tried to cast Lifestealer on the henchman. So needing a 10, that's a 5, that's not good enough. So that's it for magic, because Gilbert cannot see anyone. So that's it. Charging in with the 2 brutes, the gardener is hardened, so he doesn't need a fear check. And the chef with a 7 passes, and he can charge in as well. And in the center, at the well, also charges to make and fear tests to come. Charging the zombie, an 8, that's not good enough. And the Twister, also want to try. And with an 11, he is also frightened by the zombie. Casting magic, the Bubos needing a 7, so a 9 is a pass. Therefore the zombie has to pass a toughness check, and with a 4 he fails. So he takes a wound and needs to roll on the injury table, and a 1 is knocked down. The archers all firing on the nearest target, so Tyne Velmorn, first one moved up and over half range, so he needs a 6, so he doesn't hit. And the second one stood still, but it's over half range, so he will need a 5 to hit, and a 3 is also a failure. So on to close combat. Starting with the gardener against the zombie, he hits 2 times, and 2's the wound, 1 wound, so no armor saves for the zombie, and he is knocked down. Well, he will rise up next turn anyway, so on to the chef, and against the other zombies, 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, 1 hit, wounding on 2s, That's a 4, so he's wounded, the zombie. And a 5 takes him out. Alright. Gilbert has been charged to hurl the treasure away, now all alone, because Goliath thought it would be better to intervene and charge the brute, rather than help carrying the treasure. So he and Helmer will fight the gardener, and the zombies try to help as well, but one zombie fell down the roof, lost his initiative check, and died! Well, it's a cursed life. Over here, the Lich also lending a helping hand with magic, but trying to stay out of combat with toughness 2. In the center, one zombie charged the Carnival Master, and the Carnival Master failed his fear check, and King Valmon with his son Tyne charging the Plague Bearer. And before close combat starts, one magic to do. Lich trying to cast Spell of Doom onto the Tainted One, needing a 9, 3 and a 6 is a 9. So strength test for the Tainted One. He passes with a 3. Okay, on to close combat. Starting in the center with Tyne Valmon against the Plague Bearer with weapon skill 2, he needs a 5 to hit, and a 3 is a miss. So the King, 2 swords, needing 4s to hit, no hits as well. So the Plague Bearer strikes back, 2 attacks against Tyne because the King has a lucky charm and is therefore harder to hit. So needing 3s to hit, and a 1 and a 2, so a draw. On to the zombie attacking the Carnival Master, he hits on a 6, and needing 4s to wound, a 2 is a miss. Then the Carnival Master can strike back, needing 3 to hit, he hits on a 6, and 3s to wound, that's a wound, so injury roll, it's a 6, and he takes the zombie out of action. Fighting against the Gardener, starting with Helmer Valmon, he is a single axe, so needing 4s to hit, and he fails to hit. So going over to Goliath, he has a sword and an axe, so the sword is the black die, both hit, and needing 5s to wound, the axe wounded, so no armor save for the brute, and he goes down, but survives until the next round, where he can stand up and strike back again. And the chef against the zombie, 2 attacks, needing 3s to hit, hitting 2 times, 2s to wound, both wounded, and even a critical hit. Gets the 4, so 2 damage, and for the critical, goes down and stunned. And the regular wound takes the zombie out. Fear check for the chef, he has a 6, so he passes and can charge the zombie. And over in the center there are some more fear checks for charging this single zombie. First one, Clown Face, the Tainted One. He needs an 8 because the Carnival Master is close by. A 6 is a success, so he can charge in. Then the Carnival Master himself. He has a 9, so he's frightened. And the Twister behind will also try to charge Tyne and help the Plague Bearer. He is in a 11, so he is also frightened as well. Shooting phase, the 2 bowmen trying to shoot at Sir Jedran. So the nearest one, he moved up, so needing 5s to hit, no. And the second one stood still, so a 4 to hit, and a 1 is also a failure. Alright, going to close combat. Starting with the Tainted One against the zombie, he hits on a 6, and a 3 is not enough to wound. Onto the Plague Bearer against the 2 Graveguards. The Plague Bearer is attacking Tyne again and hitting 1 time, and a critical wound. So, oh, it's a 6. So 2 damage and Tyne has been knocked down. Alright, on to the King. King Morlock has 2 attacks with his sword and 2 6s, so 2 hits. Needing 5s to wound and 1 wound. So Plague Bearer has his demon save of 5+, he fails. So and a 5, he takes out the Plague Bearer. And the chef charged the zombie, so 2 attacks, needing 3 to hit, 2 hits, and strength 6, 2 to wound, 2 wounds, and a critical, and a 3, so 3 wounds in total. 3, 5, and 6 means the zombie is taken out. All 3 warriors have the same initiative, and Goliath wins the roll-off, so he attacks first and hits 2 times, then needing 5 to wound, and 1 wound with the axe coming through, and it's a 5, so the gardener is taken out as well. The undead passing their leadership so they can stay in the fight. Then for Mover and Gilbert, slowly but surely dragging the treasure away. Helmer and Goliath charge the chef, so he has to pass a fear check. 10, so he's frightened. Then over at the center fight, 2 failed charges, but the king charged in at the archer, and the archer passes his leadership, so he stands firm against the king. Then coming over to the Lich, she will cast Spell of Doom. That's a 6, so that's a failure. On to close combat phase. Starting with Goliath, 2 attacks hitting on 4s, 1 hit with the axe, needing 5 to wound, and nope. Then Helmer with a single axe attack, hitting on 4s, nope as well. Then the chef striking back against Goliath, because he is the bigger threat with 2 attacks, needing 3s to hit, 1 hit, 2s to wound, 1 wound, though Goliath could have parried with his sword, no parry, so it goes through, and it's a 4, so Goliath is stunned, but undead going to ground. Clownface attacking the zombie, he misses on a 1, and the zombie attacks back, and he hits. But he doesn't wound. So going over to the king, who charged the brave archer. He has 2 attacks. That's not how you kill an archer. So 2 misses. The archer can attack back. He hits on a 4, but the king can parry, and he parried. So I think the lucky charm stays intact. Fear check for the Tainted One, and he will not support the chef. He rolled an 8, so he stays where he is. Moonhead tries to charge the zombie, and on a 5 he passes finally and can charge in. The Twister tried to attack Tane, so another leadership test. On a 6 he passes as well, finally. And the second archer stays where he was, trying to shoot. He's on the ground, so shooting the nearest target. That's the zombie, needing 4 to hit. Nope, that's a miss. Then going on to magic, casting buboes again, and 11 is good enough. So zombie passes his toughness check. The king attacking the archer, hitting once, failing with the second attack, and needing a 4 to wound. There's a wound. And then a 5 takes out the archer. Second kill for the king. The Twister fighting against Tyne, 2 attacks and 2 hits on a 3. So needing 4 to wound. 2 wounds, and the Dagger has a critical hit. That's a 1, so it ignores armor saves, and therefore 2 wounds. 5 and 3 means Tyne is taken out. Carnival Master charged, so he strikes first this turn, and fails. Tainted One with the spear, he hits, and critical wound. Hits a 6, so 2 wounds and +2 on the injury table, so a 4 becomes a 6, taking out the zombie. The chef has initiative 3, so he can strike first, attacking Goliath, 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, 2 hits. And Goliath may parry. Nope, he doesn't. So 2 hits and wounding on 2s. Double critical hit. And 1 is 2 wounds plus 2. And the second one is also 2 wounds plus 2 to the injury table, so Goliath surely is dead. Yeah. Pretty convincingly taken out. But Helmar can still strike back, so single attack with the axe. And he misses. Alright. Well, the treasure, it's what they came for, and they have him, so looking good for the undead. And, well, they came too far to turn back now, so trying to pass the leadership test, an 8 is a success, so the undead can stay. Charges took place and the king fights the archer, and 2 attacks, hitting 1 time, needing a 4 to wound, that's enough. And he stuns the archer. Alright. Sir Jedran attacking the Twister. He needs a 4 to hit. And he misses. The Twister attacking back. He is frightened, so he needs 6s to hit. And misses both times. So, zombie charged Moonhead. On a 4 he hits, but failing to wound. So Moonhead can strike back, and with the 2 he misses completely. Alright, that's the fight in the center, going over to the chef. The Lich jumped down and attacked, so +1 to hit and +1 to strength, hitting on... Alright, does not hit on a 1. Then the chef hits back on Helmar, 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. And wounding on 2s, 1 wound, no armor save. So I won, Helmar gets knocked down. The Circus, they want to stay in the match because they think they can steal the treasure and maybe get home the victory. So leadership 8 and they pass. Howard charges in at the Lich, he tries at least, and with a 3 finally he passes the leadership test and gets into combat. In the center, nothing special, Clownface is moved up and Carnival Master trying to cast Bubos. On the 9 he passes and the zombie fails a toughness check, so it loses a wound. And a 1 means knocked down. Close combat, the king starts 2 attacks, 2 wounds because the target is knocked down and automatically killed. Kill number 3 for the king. And the Twister can strike before Sir Jedran, so 2 attacks with the dagger on the red die. The dagger hits, and Sir Jedran doesn't parry. So, ooh, knife to the heart, critical hit. And it's a 3, so 2 wounds instead of 1. And Sir Jedran has to pass 2 armor saves. The dagger giving +1 to armor save, so the 6-up shield becomes a 5-up armor save, and he makes both of them. So he can strike back now. Hitting on a 4, he hits, and he fails to wound. The Carnival Master just needs to wound on a 3+, and he does, so zombie is killed. And fighting against the Lich, Howard Lucas has 2 attacks with the hammers, and 1 hit, 1 miss, and strength 3, toughness 2, and it's a fail. Alright. Then the Lich against the chef, 1 attack, 4 is enough to hit, but strength 2 would have been a 6 to wound. The chef striking back at the Lich, he hits, and needing 2s to wound, 1 wound, so knock down 1 wound. And again, leadership for the undead to prevent them from routing, an 8 is enough. Gilbert, just shy of 8 inches to the table edge, so he has to carry on just a couple more turns. Helmer getting up again, he may lend a hand to Gilbert or support the Lich. Let's see. In the center, the King supported Jedran. And that's it, so going straight into close combat, starting with the King. 2 attacks, 1 hit, and forced to wound. It's a wound. And the white blades from the Graveguard means that on a 5+ they score a critical hit. So it's a critical and a 3, 2 wounds instead of 1. And he takes out the Twister. Kill number 4. And forgot the magic, so the Lich will cast Lifesteal on the Chef, needing a 10, that's a fail. Alright, then going into combat. 1 attack from the Lich against the Chef. It's a miss. Then the Tainted One, 2 attacks against the Lich, needing 3s to hit, 2 hits. And Strength 3, Toughness 2, so 3s to wound, 2 wounds. Down to 2 wounds on the Lich. Then the Chef. Maybe he can finish off the Lich, so attacking the Lich, needing 3s to hit, 1 hit, 2s to wound, and 1 wound. So Lich is down to 1 wound. Only Helmer to strike against the Chef, and he misses. The Carnival, of course, they wanna stand and fight. Not looking badly, and with a 7 they pass the leadership, so they can try their best to catch Gilbert and steal the treasure chest. Fear check for the Carnival Master, he wants to try to kill the King, and a 4 he goes in and slow him down, hopefully, and Clownface will move up to support the other half of the battlefield. And magic, Carnival Master casts Buboes on an 8, it's a success, and toughness check for the King, he fails. That's not good, so he loses a wound, and is stunned, but the King feels no pain, so he's just knocked down, sometimes, in the future. So Moonhead just needs to wound and kill him automatically. Not looking good for the King. And Strength 4, needing a 3 to wound. It's a 3, so he has slain the King. Then the Lich, 1 attack against the Chef. She misses on a 3. And for the 2 Carnival members, they have the same initiative, so rolling off who will strike first. 1 for the Chef, 3 for Howard, so he will hammer first at the Lich. 2 hits. And needing 3s to wound. 1 wound is enough to get the last hit point, and the Lich goes down. So the Chef only has to strike against Helmer. And striking against Helmer he will. 2 attacks, 2 misses. And Helmer hits on a 6 and needs a 5 to wound. Ooh, it's a critical wound. Last Defiance. And it's a 1, so just ignoring armor saves. And a 6 is a clean kill on Chef. The Restless Dead have to try to stay in the game, but with the Lich gone they need a 7 and a 3. They prevail. Helmer charged Moonface, he passes Fear check and striking first with the spear, he misses, so Helmer strikes back with the axe, hits, and a 6 is a critical wound. And a 1, just ignoring armor saves, could have been better, and the Tainted One just loses 1 wound. Over at the center, Sir Jedran charged the Carnival Master, so striking first, he misses. Carnival Master strikes back and he hits on a 6 and needs to wound on a 3. He wounds, so not looking good, and kills the Jedran. Of course the Carnival won't voluntarily rout at this point, and a 5 they stay in. And Howard trying to charge Helmer, so leadership on a 7. On a 6 he passes and gets in. And Howard can strike first with 2 hammers, hitting 1 time, needing a 4 to wound. He fails. So the clown face with the spear, hitting on a 4, wounding on a 4 as well. So 6 of armor save for the shield. Passed. So Helmer can strike back on clown face. And hits, but doesn't wound. It's a draw. Then going to the undead, they need to pass a leadership test or they're gone. And an 8 with the Lich killed. That's a failure. So Carnival wins the match and the treasure. The Carnival won the game and therefore the treasure. And within the treasure they found 8 gold, 2 weirdstone, a light armor and a single sword. And for all members who've been out of action, they all survived. A miracle! And the Gardener even survived against all odds, so he gets an additional experience point. Therefore, everybody gets some XP who survived. The Carnival Master for all his kills, and being the winning Warband leader, leveled up 2 times and gets 2 weapon skills. So he's weapon skill 6 now. And for winning the scenario, he gets an additional leadership. Then the chef also leveled up. He learned a skill, step aside, as did the gardener, so they both have step aside now. And the tainted one, Howard Lucas, also got a skill. He has strike to injure now. And Clownface leveled up +1 leadership. In the exploration phase, they found 3 additional weirdstones, so they sold a bunch and hired a new plague bearer and a new twister. After a pretty bad start now, it's looking rather good for the Carnival. House Belmont fought hard and they lost. And 2 zombies didn't make it, they died permanently, everyone else survived. Sir Jedran even survived against all odds as well, so he gets an additional XP as did the Gardener for the circus. And King Morlock suffered multiple wounds. But he rolled pretty good. He has now Frenzy and Hatred against Moonhead. And for experience rolls, starting with the Henchman, Helmer got initiative and Tyne got an additional attack. And Goliath became a hero. And he got +1 toughness straight away. Then for the other heroes, besides Lady Ursula, the Lich, everybody also got the level up. The King, going on a killing spree, leveled up 3 times, +1 leadership, an additional wound and +1 strength. Then Martial Folk getting +1 weapon skill, Sir Jedran getting +1 wound, and the Necromancer getting a skill. So he learned Dark Ritual, so at the beginning of the battle he chooses a spell and gets +D3 on the casting value for the rest of this battle. And in the exploration phase they found 2 weirdstone and got a free zombie. And after that, they started the ritual for the Lich, so she consumed all of the 2 weirdstone and got another wound, so she's at 6 wounds now. So the Carnival claimed their first territory, and this is how the campaign map looks by now. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you again in the next battle.